Heck
Every
yeah.
time a little better.
Welcome to the Ricky Dink Bullshit Podcast, episode 39, with your host, Superfly Johnny Lee, the podcast god, and Sexy Stan Sierra, along with my co-host for tonight, B Money, four-time state champion.
What's up, y'all?
Hey, seen you earlier last month, in that War Games match. Woo, Marty Clay should have known better.
Listen, I never try to give any guy I'm in competition with very much credit. This crap that these guys do about pumping the other guy up, and they get on there and they say, he's such a tough competitor, and I'm not going to do that crap. Now, flat out, it's almost getting to the point where it's getting ridiculous with Marty Clay. It's like how many big events, not just times that I beat him, how many big events. I beat him at Caverna.
Yep.
I beat him at Jackson.
Yep.
We beat him at War Games.
Exactly.
And it's like, I'm all about going through the process. You guys know me pretty good. I'm all about fairness.
Yeah.
We want it to be fair. We want a guy to have a fair shot, and Marty has failed over and over again. I think it's time for AMW to turn the page.
I got a question for you. So, are you done with Marty Clay? Like, is Marty Clay not like he's not, like, you're not taking him as a threat no more? Like,
in all honesty, and this is the best thing about it. This is the best thing about it. Go by straight facts. A lot of guys, they'll get on here and they'll talk a line of shit a mile long, and they have no facts. It's just a narrative that they want to spew and make you believe. Well, the facts is that I'm in the midst of one of the biggest title reigns ever in those mountains, and I have defeated Marty Clay over and over and over again.
See, usually how I think a rivalry should go is you get 3 matches. Best 2 out of 3 wins, and then after that, it's over. But you beat him 4. You're what? 0-4 or 4-0 on him?
Yeah, I'm starting to lose track.
Golly!
It's like, how many title shots does this guy get? He's had his fair shake, and I'm just going to be honest. Marty is a good-looking young kid. I will give him just a little bit of credit here.
And that's all he'll get.
He is tough, because I have gave him some good beatings. But at the end of the day, it's time to face the facts, and Marty Clay is just not good enough right now, and it's not going to happen.
Do you think it's like your veteran instincts, like, in the ring, or do you think it's like there's levels to this game and you're just on a different pedestal than him?
I think I'm on a different pedestal than him because I've tried to teach Marty Clay. People say, Stan, he don't teach nobody. No, Stan will teach you something by you earning it. You're not going to get nothing from Stan Sierra. You're going to earn it. I had to earn it. You're going to have to earn it. And I have told Marty Clay over and over again, and you guys, I know, have heard me say this, expect the unexpected when it comes to the wrestling business and being the AMW heavyweight champion. And he just is not listening.
Even inside a War Games match, he underestimated you. He thought that he's going to come in there gung-ho, and he's going to somehow walk it dry, take you out. But what we ended up seeing was that you outclassed him.
See, when you've been in here for a while, and you learn things. You learn things about it. You know how to manipulate things. It's all part of some people you can call it a gray area and say, oh, that's dirty. Maybe it is. But the ultimate goal at the end of the day is to win.
Hey, if it's dirty, that means you're trying harder than him.
Right. He could do some of the same things.
Yeah, he could do the same thing back, does he?
A backflip or a dive sometimes don't,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he focuses too much on those things instead of, trying to get the win.
And then sometimes you just happen like some like magical wizard puts something in your hand like an object, and you don't know it's there, and you go to punch him, and you realize you hit him with a weapon. Is that what happens?
I mean, what is a person to do? I mean, when chaos starts happening, I've had threats from Marty's family, from his mother and other relatives, and when chaos starts happening, especially in his hometown in Jackson, well, I mean, what would you do if you're in a room full of hostiles and they all start going crazy? The referee's down. There's no kind of anybody in command. You're going to go grab something.
That's right.
To protect yourself.
That is exactly right.
That's simply all I've done is I have to protect myself.
And he can say all he wants, but you were protecting yourself because...
Especially around that many uneducated, they're probably
hillbilly hicks.
All the same family,
Listen, Marty gets naked and chases turtles up and down the creek bank.
Donnie Green said, "Hey, Stan, what's up?"
What's up, Donnie Green?
That's right.
One of the baddest men around, I must say.
He sure is. Right as you can see right there, he put his picture up with his title.
Yeah.
It's a good looking picture. Hey, if you had more chances to get inside the ring with Donnie Green, would you have taken it?
Absolutely.
Hell yeah. Because Donnie Green's one of those guys that gets it. Something that we cannot say for Marty Clay because he's too busy going up top where he's trying to do suicide dives instead of, focus on getting the win.
Man, I don't understand. Like, how long you been champ?
We're going on 3 years.
3 years. You never got on top rope and done a moonsault, but you're the champ. I don't know why nobody's taking lessons. Apparently that shit ain't working.
I mean, with this kind of record, you would think somebody would pay attention and think,
exactly.
I'm going to have to do that because it's working. 3 years is that's pretty substantial title reign.
Apparently they've never heard the lesson about studying the tapes. And because no one's been trying to study you or go back and see what you've been doing that works. Because Mark Clay, he thinks that he's going to beat you, but all I've been seeing is that you've been outworking him, outclassing him, and outmaneuvering him every single time. You even drew his blood recently because he thought that he was going to draw yours.
Once right outside
that's
the
right.
door here.
That's right. We still got that blood stain inside there as well. And also counting that one at that one show as well, that would make it 3 times that Mark Clay has played.
That's why I say I give him the little bit of credit, the little sliver of credit that I give him, because he does keep coming back.
Exactly.
But it's just he just can't do it. This is a man's world. Sometimes you got to do manly things, and I just don't think that Marty Clay is ready to step up and make them kind of decisions.
Exactly. And you would have thought by now he would have grown a set and realized, I can't beat this man, so I'm going to step back to the very back of the line and let someone else try their hand at it. But nope. He just keeps on. He's glutton for punishment. It's like he's into being submitted.
One of the worst things that gets to me more, and it's one of the things that makes me different, and it gets me very, very hot under the collar, is when I see these guys, and Marty Clay's probably one of these guys. I can't say for sure if he is or not. I don't research Marty Clay that much. It's not really met the level of attention to me that I really, need to do it. But that when they get on there and they all start talking on the internet and bragging on each other and kissing each other's ass and telling each other how, let me tell you something. If you slap me upside the head, do you think I'm going to get on the internet and say, you know what, Johnny Lee, damn it, that was a good lick. Thanks for doing that.
Have.
Appreciate it, brother. You put your hands on Stan Sierra, and I'm telling you right now, I hate your guts. You're my mortal enemy. I don't like people who want to do stuff to hurt me. We're not friends. And it's like, I don't get it. And Marty Clay, that's the difference between me and him. You know, if I have to pick up a stick and defend myself in a building full of hostile people, then damn it, I'm going to pick the stick up and do it.
Exactly.
Marty Clay, on the other hand, is going to stand around and flex his man boobs and slap high fives with all of his buddies, and they're going to, you know, put their oil on and walk around with their shirts off. Screw that shit. I'll walk around with this. I can walk around with their shirts off.
Exactly, and you're not going to let someone slap you. You're going to knock the hell out of them.
Right.
We've seen it firsthand. Like, you would think that a lot of these young guys that try to step up and take that from you will understand Stan Sierra's going to do everything it takes to not only keep that title, but if you slap him, he going to knock the fuck out of you 100-time fold.
Me and Vic the Bruiser, to this day, still do not speak, and he's been out of wrestling for over 2 years. And, I mean, we don't talk. We don't associate with. It's like, you don't just let stuff like that die. It's serious to me.
Exactly.
You know, somebody beats me, I'm not going to kiss their ass and tell them how good they are. I'm going to be pretty pissed, more than likely. And it's Marty Clay. That's what he comes from. That's the difference.
Are there? I want to know. Are there friendships in the wrestling business?
Are there friendships in the wrestling business? I would like to think sometimes that they are, but it's you've always got friends if somebody thinks they can make $1 off of you.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I mean, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
But I mean, are there friends? I don't know.
Exactly.
There's a lot of people that I think pretty highly of, so I hope so that we are, but I don't know sometimes. You just never know.
Exactly. Plus, there's always someone that wants to use someone in the business. It'd rather that be to get a champion to do what a champion needs to do, or to make a quick buck. You never know who's your friend. So Marty Clay should understand he got to be cutthroat. He's got to have what Stan Sierra has and do what has to be done if he wants to be a champion, which he can't because he's too busy being goody two-shoes.
You got to protect yourself.
Exactly.
You know, just like I said jokingly there a minute ago, but like taking a backflip. You know, you've got to maneuver and sometimes it's not in a ring. It's out of the ring.
Exactly.
You know, you got to get yourself at the right place at the right time and work your way into a situation. I can't tell. I've told people this story so many times how I was a lot of times not a first choice, but by me being there and me continuously being there, I was able to get into that spot. And then whenever I got into that spot, earn my way into that spot. And it's like, that's why now people say, oh, Stan's, he's hard to get along with. No, I earned this spot. And it's not going to be gave away. You're going to come, if you get it, if Marty Clay number one, Marty Clay don't deserve another title shot. So I hope AMW officials are listening and we move on from Marty Clay. But if he ever does, he's got to earn this. It's not going to be gave to him.
Exactly, because to be a champion, you got to earn it. You can't just walk up and be like, make me a champion. You got to earn the right to say, I can be a champion. You can't just walk up and ask someone, make me a champion. Put the title on me, please. You got to do what Stan Sierra has been doing day in, day out, earning it. Because he's already held multiple championships, and he's currently holding a bunch of them, not just the AMW World title. He's held so many titles that I think that Mark Clay's grown kind of jealous because he's not held as much as you have.
I think expectation
Yep.
is really big for Marty.
Yep.
And, but that goes back to what I said about there's a lot of expectation on Marty because there's probably 5 guys standing behind Marty that hope that somehow or another they can ride off his coattails and make $1.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't want a damn thing from Marty.
Exactly.
I don't want to make $1 off of Marty. The only thing I want to do to Marty is beat his brains out and get rid of him from up in the mountains once and for all. And it's like, I beat him in his hometown. I beat him in Western Kentucky.
Yep.
I mean, you guys have been to several of them.
Exactly.
I beat him all over this state.
Oh, he really has been beaten all over this state.
And it's fact. I'm not spouting off non-factual rhetoric. I mean, it's fact.
Exactly. And you gotta think, when will he realize he can't beat you? So why does he keep on trying? Is it because he's a glutton for it? Does he expect you to suddenly be like, well, Marty, I like you. Here you go. You can have my towel. That ain't happening. So why does he get more shots than anyone else? Because you've already beat him so many times. And you got to think, who's next in line to try to take that title from you besides Marty Clay? Because there's got to be 100 guys back there that want a shot at that.
Oh, well, I'm telling you, the future at AMW, it could keep going for many, many years. What they got going over there, they've built something really good, and I think the people, they've supported it good and want to come out and see it, and they got a good relationship in a lot of these communities over there with the schools and stuff. We have a really good reputation, so I think it works over there, and I think sky's the limit. I mean, you get some guys from the north that'll come down there, and then you got the guys coming from Tom Pritchard's and all them, JCP, all them guys are coming up, and I mean, it's the future in AMW, I think.
And it has
long past me is really looking good.
Hell yeah. And plus it's got great production value. As you can see, we're watching right now here on the big screen, which no one else can see but us. But it's got great production. And you can tell that AMW puts a lot into what they do. They want to present the best product that they can, which is something that a lot of wrestling companies should pay attention to, because if you want to make it anywhere inside the business, you got to present yourself like a professional wrestling company, not be like a joke.
Exactly.
And right there, we can see Make It a Story. That's one of the guys that we've been impressed with lately, because this guy gets it. He understands everything that you need to do to get the fans to want something. But I preferred him when he was, being cutthroat. Because him being friends with a guy like Bo James and friendly with the crowd, that's just going to hinder him in the long run. Because he held the title that he had for such a long time, and now he's all friends with them. It makes you think.
Oh, this is also my first time watching War Games.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, this is my first time. I wanted to come, but I didn't know it was happening until we had the podcast with Brandon T. Wilson, and I think I was already doing something.
Yeah, I think you were doing something with your girlfriend's family.
Yeah.
But that's supposed to be Zexy Z Collins right there, the one with the black pants on, that Make It a Story is taken apart.
Yeah.
And that's Voodoo King that's on the corner as his tag team partner, dressed like
Yeah,
Papa Shango.
Yeah, because Godfather's there.
Yep. And then that's Handsome Bo James as Make It a Story's partner. You see, the reason why I wanted to come see War Games was for you.
I want
we knew that Stan Sierra was going to be taking names and kicking ass. And Marty Clay found out the hard way, just as did everyone else that was inside that match. Because
what did you think about your team for War Games?
That's what I was thinking.
I love my team. I mean, when we come together and was planning that well over a year ago, I started talking, because see, here's the thing. We'll just go back on a little quick backstory, tell it all real quick here.
Yep.
Kyle Maggard. I've hated Kyle Maggard ever since I stepped foot in AMW. I've never liked Kyle Maggard. But, as time went on, I moved away from Kyle and kind of went and done my thing. He went and done his thing. And it's like, I noticed in Hazard and in that community that Kyle was they take Kyle for granted.
Yeah.
And it's like, so I started nudging him a little bit, and we started breaking down the walls a little bit, and then we actually started talking.
Exactly.
And what we'd come up with is, what we really wanted was to have veterans and youth all mixed together. We didn't want to just get a group of veteran guys together. We wanted guys like Chris Crow.
Yep.
We wanted guys like Eric Porter.
Yep.
Adrian Alexander. We want to mix the young guys with the veteran guys and it clicked. Unfortunately for me, I got hurt, but when we come back at the War Games, which you guys seen if you've watched it, when we come to it all come right back together, and we just picked right up when we left off before I left, and it was like, not that I'm saying that I'm the most important piece, but I am a piece that makes that wheel go good. And whenever we was all together there the other night, I mean, we was taking care of business, no doubt about it.
Because that was perfect. Having A.J. Alexander, Chris Crow, Eric Porter, that's a stroke of genius to have on your side.
Do you like tag teaming?
Sometimes, like sitting here watching this with you guys, down in Virginia and other organizations, me and the Mega Destroyer there held the tag team championships.
Oh yeah,
for quite a long time, and he has always been one of my favorite tag team partners. He is a 100% legit collegiate. Like you, I mean, he's a legit wrestler. I mean,
I noticed him earlier. He was doing some funky stuff, and I was like, he's a technician. Like, this guy he knows, and like I could tell that he was some sort of collegiate wrestler too.
Yep.
Exactly, and he understands that less is more inside the business. Like, you get all these other guys that want to do too much, and this guy's like, no, let me show you how it's done, and the fans respond to everything that he does. That's something that a lot of young guys can learn from the older generation. Just study the tapes, because they're all there. Even when you were inside a War Games match, you showed that less is more. You wasn't doing too much against Marty. You were still beating on his ass, and he knows that he couldn't beat Stanzier, so he tried to take out Adrian. He thought that he was going to get that win with that, but you showed him, because he got to say hello to your weapon.
Well, and perfect example of what we've been talking about. Instead of going for the kill, like you've got to do, when that slim door arises that you can take control and possibly win, what Marty Clay do? He wants to do, what's that move he does, the dead man?
Yep.
He wants to do a spectacular dead man's curve off the top rope in the steel cage. And if you watch the video, I'm literally sitting there with the stick waiting in the corner. I'm watching him. I know Marty like a book. He goes for the high flying move that's going to do nothing, and I'm standing right there.
Exactly.
There it is. I mean, that's simple.
That's something that all of his team didn't understand, because none of them was trying to go for the kill. They all had opportunities where they could have went for the kill, and they just like, nah, I just want to continue beating on these guys. And then Marty Clay, for example, goes for that dead man's curve off the top rope. That was a big mistake, because that not only weakened him, but it allowed you to bust him wide open and get the win.
Well, and get this. Just what we've been sitting here talking about, and this is why I say sometimes it's all about high-flying moves. It's about brains.
Exactly.
Why, God, oh why, did nobody but me think to bring a weapon inside a no-holds-barred steel cage match?
Good question.
I mean,
because no cue.
You know what pisses me off? They make you have to be the bad guy for being the smartest guy there.
I mean,
how
no holds barred, and nobody brought nothing to the ring except for me.
You were the only one that thought ahead of time.
And then when you pull it out, everybody's, oh no, you can't do that, Stan.
Yeah. I mean, look at that right there. That's your team right there, outclassing his entire team. He thought that having Zodiac was going to be a big time player. But guess what? He should have realized Zodiac has a problem with Misery, and Misery found himself getting inside that cage and taking out Zodiac and before leaving. That was between them. But Marty Clay should have realized you can't count on the monster Zodiac to fight your battles for you. You have to do it yourself and be a man. Why did none of them think, oh, I'm going to break a steel chair, I'm going to bring this weapon? Only you were the smart one to do it. And yet, you're the guy that they all hate? Just because you were playing by the rules of the cage match? There was no disqualification. You could use any weapon that you wanted. It's called War Games for a reason. And as we see Wayne Moxley out there, peeking out there, looking at them. I guess he's trying to listen in for an advantage on how he can take you out. Because that's the only reason I can think of this goof that's coming out here smiling and thumbs up in front of the crowd behind a curtain.
Listen, I don't know, but somebody needs to tell him to do something about that 1970s porn star mustache he's got going on there, because it kind of creeps me out when I see it. That's all.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I'm going to have to tell him I don't like it.
It does look like that because he calls himself a dream weaver, but have you seen him weave any dreams?
Only nightmares.
Exactly.
Only nightmares. He's got a tag team partner, Bob, that goes around. Bob, that's all he tried to do was bite me.
I know, right?
Bob was probably the smartest one. He knew he could bite out of all of them. The one that acts like he's got the least amount of sense was the one that actually was the smartest on their side.
Exactly.
But
he was someone.
You can't expect much, though, too. I mean, you got John Noble out there, and John Noble, I said, and I stick by it firmly, he is the Billy Gillespie of the southeastern Kentucky over there. He's a terrible coach. He's been a loser everywhere he's went.
Yep.
They've moved him all over the mountains. I guess someday they'll move him out of the state so he can start being a loser in another state. But for whatever reason, they keep giving him job.
And he trained Marty Clay, so that explains why Marty Clay's a loser too.
Exactly.
And it all comes full circle because he keeps on trying to take you down. He just hasn't realized yet. Who trained you is why you're a loser. John Noble did it. And John Noble thought that joining the team, that he'd somehow do something against you, Kyle Maggard, and the guys. And he found out the hard way. Never put your eggs in one basket. And that's exactly what he did.
And I'm gonna AMA or what is
AMW.
AMW? Yeah. Man, just watching this product, honestly, like it's so professional how y'all do it. Like the cameras, y'all really put forth the effort to make a really good show for these people, and I hope y'all really get the views that y'all deserve, because this is amazing. Like even on like the videos, like it's got the little AMW logo, it's got their names, it's got y'all got the professional curtains and lights. It's amazing what y'all are putting on in Kentucky right now.
They put a lot of work. I watched these guys. I had went over to the school prior to this and done an anti-bullying. AMW does an anti-bullying program at the schools, and we'll go and talk to the kids and stuff like that. And went down and checked these guys out when they was putting this together, and I'm telling you, there was a lot of work going on.
Yeah.
A lot of work going on.
Exactly. Because this is great production. Like these guys, they never miss. I've been to several AMW shows now, and they've always had great production, great setting, great setup. I've even helped set up the ring and tear down. And that's another thing that sometimes gets on my nerves about young wrestlers, because there are wrestlers that will complain about having to help set up the ring. But I think that's just them wanting to be lazy, because I don't care if the ring's heavy. If you're going to put in the work, you put in the work. Set it up because you want to make sure that the ring is set up right. You want it to be perfect for the wrestlers that's going to be inside that ring, and show respect to them no matter what. And that's what the young guys need to start learning. Like this guy right here, Corey Sparks, he got it. He just needs someone that can be the mouthpiece for him. Someone that can give the talking for him while he does the wrestling.
Corey Sparks has a ton of ability.
Sure does.
Ton of ability.
Like he can do a great German suplex. We witnessed him German suplex that big man right there, and that's no easy feat. Like this match from top to bottom, you knew that.
Whew,
And that's the hardest part of the ring, too.
Yeah.
The apron is always the hardest part.
Can you confirm that?
I can confirm that.
Because that's the part that has no support. So when you get dropped down at that, you're getting the full force. And that's right on the back, too. And the back is taking a hell of a beating when you get dropped on there. Like, this guy right here, during the War Games match, he came out there for Zodiac and only Zodiac. You notice, he left as soon as he got his hands on Zodiac. That means this man was not there to help Marty Clay or help Team Maggard. He was just there to get his hands on Zodiac, and that was that. And they could try and say that Misery helped y'all get the win, but they're wrong because he wasn't there to help y'all. He was just after one man.
Then again, I would have to say, how did he help us get the win in a
Exactly.
no-holds-barred match with no disqualification?
Exactly. And yet, there's people that try and say that. Like, Marty Clay probably thinks that this man got hired by y'all somehow and told him to come out there and attack. And that makes no sense because in a War Games match, anything goes. No DQ. Like, he should know that. That's nothing inside how the rule says that you can't bring a weapon or have someone come out there during a cage match. It just makes no sense for him to think that. Then again, he is from Lost Creek, has a Kentucky. So
one thing for Marty though that I keep saying is he didn't have the luxury that I had, like for so many years. Like you're showing the picture there, Donnie.
Yep.
When you go in, week out, month in, month out, year in, year out, and you're doing shows with Johnny Green, Ray, Al, Larry D, Chucky Smooth, Jim Chadwick. You got to be good.
Yes,
I mean, because those guys are good. Ronnie Roberts, those guys are all bringing their
I was thinking of Ronnie Roberts when you were saying the
I mean,
names,
I may be missing a couple. There's probably more, but I mean,
there's a ton of them.
That original group that we had up there for a little while, because I wasn't even part of it. I just got to be, they was really the group, and then I got to come in there at the end and work with them, and it's like, everybody's phenomenal.
Yep.
And it's like, these guys today don't understand that.
Exactly.
It's like where every guy on the show could be at the top. And it's like, that prepares you.
Yeah.
When you go to these other places, and it's like some of these shows, they may not, because we really do here in Kentucky, I have to say. I mean, even right now, even though I've got less time than more time looking ahead, here in Kentucky and around here, we've got guys that are as good as anybody you'll watch on the internet. If you get on YouTube and search and watch, our guys are as good as anybody around. So,
especially because you've been wrestling for TCW, which is a phenomenal promotion as well, and you've been locking horns with a lot of talent during this time. Like, I've seen you lock horns with a multitude of them, like Marty Clay, who still doesn't understand that he's not going to beat you no matter what, so he might as well pack it up and let someone else get a shot at you now.
Has it like, so when you versed Marty Clay these 4 times, was it, so the second time you versed him, was it the same Marty Clay as the first one? Like, did he change at all? Did he progress? Did he get better or worse?
Yeah, he's gotten a little better. But here's the thing, I think I have too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one thing in wrestling that anybody that you've heard it's kind of cliche, but it's like, by no means do I claim to be any kind of master of all. I learn and I evolve. I watch these new guys, I see the stuff that they do and so think about, well, how can this is the difference between me and Marty Clay. I'll think about, how can I utilize that, or how can that benefit me if I do that?
Exactly.
Where they're just thinking, move. I'm plotting and thinking, and it's a
champion mindset right there.
Exactly.
Marty has gotten better. I'm not going to say physically he's gotten stronger. I'll give him that, but Marty does not have the killer instinct. I do not think he does not have the killer instinct.
He don't. As the old that saying goes, no matter how old or experienced you are, you're never too old to learn something new. And you've been learning and improving. That's something that he'll never be able to outdo, because he may be improving, but you're improving 10 times more because you're a champion. And when you're a champion, you got to improve a lot more than these young guys can do.
Well, the comparison is that you set Stan Sierra and Marty Clay on a track.
Yep.
Number 1, number 2, right beside each other, and then you tell Marty Clay, "Oh, you gotta wear clown shoes." That's how the race is. Think about how far you'd be ahead of Marty Clay if he had clown shoes on.
Right.
Exactly. Like, think about this. Marty Clay's been after your championship for months now. You've beaten him at every turn, no matter how many times he improves. He doesn't realize you've been improving 10 times more than what you did the first time that you met him inside that ring. And until he realizes that, he's never going to become champion. And then the guy that's behind him that's waiting for his shot, eventually he's going to be like, I'm taking it. And then he's going to become the one that's going to be facing you. So Mark Clayberry realized if he wants to try to take your title, he's going to have to pay attention to everything you do because you're improving 100-fold. You're getting better. You're getting more faster than him. And you're starting to see exactly where Marty Clay is. And you understand that Mark Clay just ain't going to have that instinct to kill because you've already had it. And you're always going to have it.
He don't. You know, I'll just give you a little insight here that I tell you. When, on the part where me and him face off in the cage there and at War Games, and I got him all razzled. You know what I told Marty? I told Marty because he was talking about, he pointing at this belt, and I said, Marty, before you get this belt, I promise you, I will smack your mama right in the mouth. If it come down to me keeping this title or smacking Marty Clay's mama right in the mouth in his hometown in front of everybody and family and everybody, just to show him that, and that's what razzle dazzled him. And it's like, if I can say that to you and get under your skin, and obviously made him, you know, we seen what happened at the end, so
it
Marty's
just
got a
shows.
long way to go.
Exactly. And he might as well step back and let someone else step up to the plate because he ain't got it. Because you told him, if he wants to try and take your title, he's going to have the killer instinct himself. He ain't got it. So let someone else step in. Because I'm pretty sure that there's a number of men just waiting and salivating at the mouth to get their chance to take on sexy Stan Sarah with an AMW championship. Heck, even inside Triple Crown Wrestling and all the promotions that you hold the world title, they want their chance. So, Mark Clay, I'm sorry, brother, it's time. Let someone else have a shot at Stan Sarah. Because I'm pretty sure that he's getting tired of beating you out every sense of the word. Because I'm pretty sure that you've beaten him at least 100 times.
I mean, like you said earlier, it's not a rivalry. People ask all. You know, I went on the little Jackson, supposed to be biggest sports radio, sports station, whatever, and you know, of course, that's Marty's hometown.
Yep.
And I go on there, and this guy's talking to me like we're actually in some kind of competition, and I'm like, I had to correct him on air, and I'm like, you do know that I beat Marty, like every time I faced him here lately, right? I mean,
Exactly.
They get that Kool-Aid, you know. that's what Marty's used to. Is that type of deal. It's like, you know, you kiss his ass and kiss his ass and kiss his ass and tell him how great he is, and then he starts drinking the Kool-Aid, and it's like. But here's the thing, and Tracy Smothers used to always say this.
God rest his soul.
That's why you wrestle the match. You can say whatever the hell you want to, but at the end of the day, you got to get in the ring, you got to wrestle the match, and you got to produce and get the winning outcome. I mean, that's,
Exactly.
You can say it all you want, but saying it and doing it are two different things.
Exactly. Like, it's not a feud because you've beaten him so many times. For it to be a feud, he would have at least had have gotten.
I've beaten him almost
14.
as many times as I've beaten his teacher there.
John Noble.
I beat his teacher there. So this is really quite ironic. I beat Marty Clay in his hometown.
Yeah.
And I beat John Noble in his hometown.
Damn.
And the irony is that Marty Clay got taught by a loser. So that, by definition, that made Marty Clay a loser because he sure, even though he's improved, he sure ain't improved in the brains department because he's not been paying attention to you. Every time he does pay attention to you, he somehow gets flustered because you say things that get him under his skin. I bet that even John Noble gets flustered every time you say something to him. So by proxy, there's your answer to why Mark Clay will never beat Sexy Stan Sarah. It's not a feud because you've beaten him every inch of the way. And if this is a race, you've already beaten him 100 miles ahead.
So,
Exactly. And, like, it's about time that Kyle Maggard start listening to you. Like, you told him ahead of time. You told him, hey, listen to what I'm telling you. Don't listen to these idiots. And he finally started listening.
you think about it, since you've known Kyle Maggard and you've seen his attitude this past year all summer long. Kyle Maggard stepped up to the plate, and he was a force to be reckoned with all summer long. Everywhere he went with that Southeastern Heavyweight Championship, he defended it against everybody, and he stepped up to the plate. He's a different guy.
Dude,
Exactly.
I think after this summer, it's AMW era in Kentucky.
That's right. Because Kyle Maggard stepped up. Stan Sierra continues to step up. There ain't no one on Stan Sierra's level and Kyle Maggard's level. So I think that all the other people should stop what they're doing and pay attention to what Stan and Kyle do. Because we're starting to see AMW become this masterstroke of genius. Because you got stars like Stan, the world heavyweight champion right there. And then you got Kyle Maggard, who finally listened to him. Ain't nobody beating that team, if you think about it. Because as War Games proved, when y'all are on the same level, nobody's on your level.
I mean, and facts are facts. Just like I keep saying, that you can talk, they can talk.
Yep.
But the facts, at the end of the day, I am the AMW heavyweight champion. Kyle is the Southeastern heavyweight champion. Chris Crow and Eric Porter are the tag team champion.
Yep.
Adrian Alexander, this whole time that I had been out, I can't tell you how important the relationship between me and Adrian Alexander was. I was always in contact with Adrian. He kept me in the loop on what was going on, where we was going with it, and it was mine and his relationship growed. And Adrian was probably the most important asset. I mean, he was there all summer and held that together, and he done a great job.
Exactly, because you need that whenever you're out with injury, because you need someone that you know and that you can trust that's going to keep you inside the loop, make sure that you know what's going on, so that when you do come back, you're going to come back strong because you already know what it's all about. Because you knew already ahead of time before you entered that War Games cage what Mark Clay's team was going to be about, what they thought they were going to do. And when you got into that cage, you shut down every one of them. Because I saw you beat on all of his teammates. None of them could handle you. So that just proves Stan Sierra one step ahead of Mark Clay always. And plus, I mean, look at this. You got John Noble trying to dance while Kyle Maggard's just focused on taking them apart. Like, that right there's the problem. You got someone right there that's ready to kill someone, and then you got the other guy that's like, I'm just going to dance here for you, brother.
What do you think something went wrong with Marty's team, or do you think that, like, your team was just unbeatable?
I honestly just think that our team was unbeatable, and I think our team was a unit. That's the thing that when we put this together, and we sometimes you hit on it, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you'll get it something and it won't go for very long, but we hit on this, and like I said, then when I went down for a while, the team didn't crumble. I mean, just everybody stepped right in there, and the team just kept going. That's a unit.
Exactly.
I mean, where it ain't defined. I said from the beginning, the guys that we wanted to get in this group, we wanted guys that could stand on their own, as their own man. And every one of them guys can do it. All those guys are successful in their own rights. Chris Crow, Adrian, even Eric, they're all champions in other promotions, throughout. So I mean, all these guys are winners,
and they're intelligent as well. They knew what they were doing. Now you compare that to Mark Clay's team. That team wasn't cohesive. It almost felt like none of them were tight knit. It felt like they just do each other together because they had a common goal. They didn't even think about what they wanted to do. When they got inside the cage, all I saw was deer in headlights. Every time they saw each of your teammates come out there, I just saw them stop and stare, all wide-eyed and doe-eyed, because they knew that they were looking at a unit.
I think it was too personal. I think they, if you could believe that, I think they let it get too personal to where it clouded their decision-making capabilities because, John wanted to kill Kyle. Eric and Chris had the thing going with Moxie and Brutal Bob.
Yep.
And then Zodiac in there. It was just, I think their grievances was personal, where ours was we was working as a unit.
Exactly.
And
that ended up costing them big time because you had Marty Clay with the sign that he was going to hit that dead man's curve off the top. You had Moxie and Bob not even going for the kill. You had John Noble. He's trying his best to go for the kill, but he too just ain't got the killer instinct. All of your teammates, they had the killer instinct. I saw Chris Crow, Spirit Man, in half. That told me Chris Crow was ready to kill someone that night. None of them that y'all were fighting, even though they had it personal, they didn't try to go for the kill because they were so personal that they got so invested on what they wanted to do to y'all that they forgot what was important to the match, to win. And that allowed y'all to stop anything that they were doing because they didn't even go for the pins, if we're honest. Because not once did I see them go for a pin where they had the guy down. They're like, nope, sorry. Hey, Ready X is tuned in. And I'm sure that he knows that your team had the advantage because y'all knew what y'all were going to do compared to Marty Clay's team. Because as you can see, John Noble out there decided to dance instead of go for the kill on Kyle. And that's supposed to be personal between himself and Kyle. But only Kyle's the one that's thinking, I'm going to take this man apart.
So Rated X, I'm sure he's probably, there's nobody got a mouth like him. We all know that.
Exactly.
I was kind of hoping he'd get mad and try to get in more games and do something about it. That way I could go ahead and get rid of him too.
That's true. Because if he got to the cage, it's legal. If he got inside that cage, you would have taken him out just the same as you did Marty Clay.
Would that be legal if you went over the cage and dragged him in there? Or out the door?
Not really, because in war games, you can't leave the cage or your team forfeits.
That's right.
That's the only rule that the war games cage has.
Listen, let me tell you guys something here, because you've both been around Jimmy Walls. Don't let him fool you. He knows beyond a shadow of a doubt, because I have done it in the past. He knows if he pisses me off too bad, I'll knock his ass out.
Yeah.
That's
he
right.
knows. He knows. He can talk whatever he wants and talk all that game, but at the end of the day, he knows I'll knock him out.
What about this though? Prime Rated X, champion, unbeatable, god like Stan Sierra.
Who would win?
Easy.
That'd be you.
I would.
Exactly. Because you've already whooped his ass. Several other times he stepped up on you. And if he'd been dumb enough to try and get inside cage, you would have whooped his ass then too. Because he knows. He was smart that night. He was like, I don't want to jinx it. He'll beat my ass. I'm going to stay out here on the commentary table. I'm not even going to try it and go after Stan Sierra. Even though he was mad. He knew that if he stepped to that door, anything goes, because you would have been right after him.
Let me tell you something about Jimmy Wall. Jimmy Walls is an ass kisser. He's done it his whole career. That's how he's made the money, by kissing ass. Stan Sierra is an ass kicker.
Exactly.
I'm not kissing nobody's ass. I kick ass. That's what I do. Right or wrong, like me or not, that is the only reason I ever wanted to be a wrestler. Plain and simple, is I physically like to smack the piss out of people.
Exactly.
And it's just, that's my avenue to do it. I mean,
that's why you're the champion.
I'm not like Jimmy Walls. Jimmy Walls wants to hug the babies and, take pictures with all the ugly gifts that want to crawl out of the rest home. And it's like, I'm not about that.
And he's always on commentary dressing you down just because you're doing what it takes to win. It's like,
yeah, he is always tearing you down on commentary. That's a little, man. You can't be you got to be an even commentator.
Exactly.
You can't hate on Stan for doing what's right.
Is this a PG rated show or what
you could, anything goes.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you the truth about Jimmy Walls right now. What really bugs him more than anything is sometimes
Do you got the chat on?
Yeah, it's on, but
Oh,
because of StreamYards, I got on my phone here.
okay.
sometimes when I'm in the ring and he sees me come out and he sees how I am and he sees I've got about a half a chub going from excitement and getting ready to smack the shit out of somebody. And he's sitting there and he knows that he's took handfuls of blue pills day in and day out. And,
Exactly.
And he can't even muster a jerk
That's true.
or a quiver. It's just so he hates me. He's always hated me.
I think that he's jealous of you because your name's Sexy Stan.
Right.
He ain't sexy at all.
Right. What do you think that name means? I mean,
And yet he calls himself Ready X. But I ain't seen him done anything that warrant that name. I just see him talking to God towards you instead of actually doing something that warrants that name.
well, there's never going to be a fair shake where it comes with Jimmy. Jimmy don't like me. I don't like Jimmy. I'll be honest with you. There's some times that I've wrestled at the USWF. I do it just because I don't like Jimmy.
Yeah.
Just for no other reason other than I just don't like Jimmy.
Because you know that he's going to go
Just
off
go
the
down there.
rails.
Do you go down there and just kick ass like you pretty much busting heads?
I go down there and act like I run the joint.
That's right. That's
And
what
and
champions should do.
and that's what Jimmy don't like. Jimmy don't like that.
Does Jimmy say anything about it when you're running shit?
Listen, Jimmy, year after year has done everything he can, and honestly, I think, like I said earlier, he's made me better because it made me have to think more by him putting me in this match and that match. Whenever I was the USWF heavyweight champion, he was always coming up with these crazy matches to try to get me beat, and he never could do it.
That is a bias right there.
That is
Putting you in
bias.
crazy matches just so he could take the top off you.
Listen, his name is not Jimmy Walls for nothing. You understand that,
And
don't
you brought
Yep.
you
Walls. That's Tim. That's Tim Walls' little brother.
Oh, that's true.
Mm.
Now I understand.
Anyway, what was you saying? I had to let him know about Jimmy. That's Jimmy's stepbrother, Tim Walls.
Well, shit, what was I gonna say now? Fuck,
What were you
I
gonna
lost
say,
it.
brother?
I think I lost it. So back to Jimmy Wallace.
Jimmy Walls is Tim Walls' cousin.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That explains everything. That's why he's biased towards you. Because he saw that you're a man that gets things done. He's like, I want my title film, so I'm going to book this. I'm going to book that. I'm going to book that. I hope they loses. Oh, goddamn, he won. I want to book this match now. Oh, he won again. That's bias right there. Yeah,
See, Jimmy and all them, they plotted a couple of years back. I don't know if you did you guys go to Victor Bruiser's last match?
we wanted to.
Or did you go to his Mama Memorial? So here, I was in the main event against Omega.
Yep.
Vic, was you there?
I think so.
Vic comes out there and see what Jimmy had planned is he thought that, Omega and Vic and Jimmy and all these guys was all just going to have a big field day and it was going to be Whip Stan Sierra and Eric Porter's ass night and all this stuff. And when they come out there, what ended up happening is on Vic the Bruiser's Mama's Memorial Show, I hit Vic the Bruiser in the face with a fireball.
Oh, man.
But then I'm the bad guy.
Yeah.
But that's what they wanted Vic to do to me. That's what Jimmy had planned all along. That's what they was going to do. Then it backfires, and then all of a sudden, you know what? That's Stan. He's blah blah
Exactly.
blah. It's
Man,
like,
when people are just I don't understand why people just throw this heel narrative on you. Dude, you're
Exactly.
you're such a chill guy, and if everybody was as chill as you, shit. They might be world champ. Who knows?
But why is Jimmy Walls being jealous of you? Is it because he knows that you're a better champion than he ever was? Is it because he knows that you can knock him out no matter what? Or is it because he knows deep down that if you and him were to ever have a match, and it was Prime Stan and Prime Ready X ain't winning. And he knows that.
he knows that Stan Sierra would have been around during his time. let's say, for instance, I don't know how many title reigns he had. If he had 10, he would have had 5 or 4.
To him, he says he had 19 title reigns.
19.
So he wouldn't have had 19 if you were around during that time.
No.
He probably wouldn't have even had
He
a
also
championship.
he also had to lose the belt 19 times.
Exactly. That's nothing to brag about.
3 years.
Whereas Stan has held his
Anybody
championship.
can play hot potato.
And Stan's held this championship for 3 years. That's a long time. That is 2,000 something days right now. And if he makes it, well, actually, it's about to be 4 years. Because that means that this man's going to have the longest title reign in Kentucky. So right there, it tells you why Ray X is jealous of you.
This championship has been defended in Tennessee. It's been defended in Indianapolis. It's been to West Virginia. It's been to Virginia. It's been to Tennessee. It's not just been defended in Kentucky. It's been defended around. I mean, it's...
And that's what a world championship's supposed to be. It's supposed to be defended everywhere. Not just one state, but all over the country. Just so people know who the real world champion is. Because everyone else can claim their title be a world title. But if they've not defended outside the state that they're in, then can they really call themselves a champion? Because you defended all over the place. You didn't defend it just in Kentucky. You've been defended everywhere. And I guarantee you that if you get a chance, you would defend it across the seas as well. So that right there tells me why Jimmy Walsh is jealous of you. It makes sense now because he's always saying things about you on commentary. But I've not seen you do anything that he says that you've been doing. So,
I mean, you've explained yourself. Everything that they say, oh, Stan's dirty this, you've explained, and it sounds more logical.
Exactly. Plus, you didn't cheat during this match because this match had no rules. The only rule was you couldn't leave the cage. You're allowed to use weapons, which these idiots, for some reason, did not think to bring into the ring. But you were smart enough to be like, you know what? It's no DQ. I'm bringing my weapon with me. And then you used it because you saw your chance. Because none of the other guys were willing to do what it takes to get the win. And that's why your team won. Because you were willing to get your hands dirty when they wasn't. That's what a lot of these wrestlers don't understand. They're being goody two-shoes. They're trying to cater to the fans. And they're not understanding that if they want to win, like Stan Zero, they got to get their hands dirty and do what it takes to get the win.
Well, I mean, you know, everybody. I'm not gonna shoot myself in the foot here. We all want fans at wrestling shows.
Exactly.
But the difference between me and say some of those guys is I do not allow any. I don't give a damn what you pay to get in. You do not dictate to me what I am, who I am. I'm Stan. I've always been Stan.
Exactly.
I'm a redneck. You can hear it in my voice. I couldn't hide it if I tried. I'm a redneck. That's just how I am.
Exactly.
I'm a redneck ass kicker. I'm going to be that way until I'm done, and that's just the truth of the matter.
That's right, and that's why Nancy Roberts loves her some Stan Sierra. She's a longtime fan of yours. And she'll always carry that banner of sexy Stan Sierra.
Man, speaking of that, I've been a fan. Hold on. I've been a fan of Stan since I was a little kid, man. I think the first time I ever seen Stan, it was up in like, it might have been Paris. I remember like, if I seen like one of the shows from back then, I could tell you what built, or I could tell you what it was. But it was the night Ronnie Roberts won the belt. And I think you were on the card. It was the first time I got to see Stan Sierra, and I was like, that's a badass fucking dude.
Hell yeah, he is. When me and Andy first saw Stan, we knew that's a world champion. Looking at him, he looked like a star. He carried himself like a star. He was a professional wrestler. And you could tell just from looking at Stan Sierra that his opponent wishes that he was sexy Stan. That's the real reason why Jimmy Walls don't like him. Because Jimmy Walls wished that he was Stan. But unfortunately, there can only be one sexy Stan Sierra, and he's right here sitting inside the ring. And he's holding all the gold. And right now, he's going to hold that towel all the way to 2025.
That's the championship of Kentucky right now.
Yep, the AMW championship.
He is sitting on the throne, and nobody is gonna dethrone Stan Sierra.
Listen, let's just put this into perspective, and it's a fact. It's not. I'm not sitting here blowharting, but I had this championship for over 2 years. I lost it in a fluke to Marty Clay. I came back, defeated Marty Clay, and that was 3 years ago. So 5 out of the 6 years I've had this championship. 5 out of 6.
Exactly.
That's unheard of in today's time.
Exactly. That fluke victory is all that he's ever going to have. Because all he needed was a fluke.
He thinks
he can't beat you, seriously.
Well, what he's been trying to do is, he's rubbing the promoters back, kissing ass, and then keeps trying to, because he got that one over on you, he keeps trying to pull another fluke.
Yeah.
Well, see, here's the funny thing about that. It's like, these guys want to cry on that. John Noble, the one and only time that Marty Clay ever beat me, lo and behold, John Noble grabbed a hold of my stick when the referee was down and hit me in the gut with it.
Exactly, and they want to talk.
It took both of them and my stick.
Exactly, that's the only way that he beat you. Mark Clay needs to understand he'll never beat you fair and square because he had to.
But you're the bad guy when the ref's down and you hit somebody with a weapon.
Exactly. See what I mean?
So that's the biasness I'm seeing too.
We got a lot of pointing fingers at Stan for no reason,
and yet John Noble was taking Stan's stick to Stan and acting like Mark Clay beat Stan fair and square. No, he didn't. He's never beaten Stan fair and square because as we've seen, when John Noble's not involved, Mark Clay can't get the job done.
So when Stan comes on the show, when he walks in this door, there's a certain aura that you give off when you come in that's just like I just feel elevated when I'm around Stan Sierra. And I want to know, like, when you walk into the locker room, do you feel fear? Not fear of, like, other people. Like, can you smell other people's fear of you?
Not really. And because I'll be totally honest with you. It's when I get to that parking lot, and like when I'm there, I'm laser. I mean, even when I come in and I start shaking hands and saying highs and lows, and it's like, I am always laser focused on what I'm doing and in my own little deal to the point to where because I just focus on what I'm doing. So I really honestly don't pay a lot of attention. Like you, I just really don't because I'm usually focused on what I'm doing. That's what I'm always trying to concern myself with. You always
smart.
Got these people that this one's worried about this one and that one and blah, 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 and this and that. I've always just tried to stay focused on me,
Exactly, because that's smart. You're focused on what you're doing and not caring what they're doing.
See here, right here, Marty Clay. He had to jump off the top.
Yep, and that allowed for that to happen. Like, that's my thing about Marty Clay is that if he had the clear instinct, he wouldn't have done something like this. He allowed Kyle Macker to hit a Simone drop after catching him. Because he thought that he's going to do something spectacular off that top rope, and it backfired.
He did the work for Kyle. If his feet was on the ground, I mean, the only thing Kyle can do is pick you up, and you can fight that. But if you're in the fucking air, and he reverses you.
Exactly. And that's my thing about Mark Clay is that several times in that match, after you were out there and the match officially started, he could have whipped for a pin. But guess what? He chose yet again another top rope maneuver, and this time it was the dead man's curve off the top rope. If he hadn't done that, he could have gotten a win. But no. He gave you time to catch your bearings. You sat there and you watched and you waited. And then after you hit that move, you were like, now it's go time. Once you hit him, 1, 2, 3, it was over with. And that's all because Mark Clay's a glutton for jumping off top rope or doing something off the top rope instead. what you're doing right there.
Now, right here, can you rewind that again?
Yeah.
Rewind that right. Now I'm going to show you. This is a difference. I'm going to show you a difference because we sit here and watched them all come through.
Exactly.
You think of how Marty Clay and all them guys come running through there all. You watch how I walk through the curtain.
Because you were laser focused. Like you didn't have to come out there running. You were ready, prepared, and here you come out the curtain, laser focused on what you're about to do in that match. Like, look at the people around. They love Stan Sarah.
See here.
Right there. That's laser focused right there.
Taking my time.
Just like you're supposed
soaking
to.
it, soaking it in.
Soaking it all in. No, ain't no big hurry. That cage ain't going nowhere. There ain't no reason for me to
Talk
get
a
out
little
there.
shit.
Plus, you had your weapon with you. Make sure, just because Mark Clay didn't bring a weapon in, you were going to make sure that you're going to adhere to what the rules are. It's a no DQ match, so you might as well bring it. And there you go. You take your time. You're telling the fans, you think this guy's going to beat me? He ain't beating shit. You're telling those fans to shut up, sit down, and pay attention to what championship looks like. Because right now, you're about to step to that cage, and you didn't even have to get in there. You're taking your time. You're soaking it in. You're paying attention to what they're doing. Pay attention to what the fans are doing.
You even wore your whole, your walkout, stuff. Like you wore man, look, you're just chilling.
Exactly.
They all just came in. Oh, let's high
wore
five,
themselves down.
kiss the baby, sign the titty. Oh, get in the cage. No.
They wore themselves down is what happened because
And then by then they're happy. You don't. I'm not fucking. When I was wrestling, I was never happy. I didn't have a thought in my brain. The only thing was freaking just knowing. Like I didn't even think I wanted to kill somebody when I get in there. I don't want to be your friend. Like he said earlier, I don't want to be your friend, dude.
Exactly.
When I step my toe on that line. All I could think about is just doing whatever horrible things to this person.
they're ripping a man's shoulder out of socket.
Ripping people's shoulders out
Which
of socket.
is something I can't say about Marty Clay because, as you saw, Marty Clay took instead of jumping on you right then and there, he waited and he was just talking trash. And you're like, you going to do something or what, little man? He didn't do nothing. That allowed Adrian Alexander to come in. I know that was Chris Crow. Chris Crow come in and attack him. No, it was Adrian. I keep getting confused because Chris Crow likes to wear white pants too. But he attacked him from behind and Marty Clay went down. But here's the thing. Marty Clay could have attacked you right then and there, but he didn't do it. He instead wanted to run his mouth. That's another thing that gets me. Like he had the chance to take on Stan Sarah right there and then. And all he wanted to do was stand there and talk crap about you. And that allowed AJ Alexander to come in from behind, take him down, and then you and Kyle Macker to double choke slam him. My God. That's the difference between Stan Sarah and Marty Clay. Marty Clay wants to talk at the jib. Stan Sarah wants to do what Stan Sarah's going to do. And right there, you got these two goofs trying to attack you and do something. But here's the thing. You're not even sweating, Brutal Bob. They can beat on you right now, but you're smart because you know that as soon as they let go, you already got their number. Because they can come in at you all they want. Because right there, look at that. You're already on top of Dreamweaver after he already attacked you inside the corner. So right there, that just proves who sexy Stan Sarah is. You're smart. You know what you were going to do. They didn't.
Zodiac there. Zodiac been a friend of mine for many, many years. I never in 10 million years thought that me and Zodiac would be going at each other. We've always been allies. It's always worked out for us. That was very strange being on the opposite side of Zodiac.
Did it kind of hurt? Like, because, you felt like you had that connection with him.
You know what? That's just like I practice what I preach, and I always say expect the unexpected.
Exactly.
Zodiac kind of caught me by surprise here in a minute on here, but after that, I get it.
Yeah, that's the difference between Stan Sierra and Marty Clay. If Zodiac were to turn on Marty Clay, he would be distraught.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he would be in
Exactly.
the ring crying and everything.
Well, just like he did Kyle Maggard. If
Yeah.
you remember, I mean, called my buddy, blah, 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 blah. It's like,
Exactly.
Did that happen? Did that happen right, or when you found out that Zodiac was going to be your opponent? Did you go on Facebook and tweet about him?
no.
Exactly. Nowadays, you see someone turn on you, they're quick to jump onto the Facebook and be like, oh, I thought he was my best friend, my buddy. I can't believe that we broke bread together and he attacked me for my... That is keyboard warrior.
A big thing that I think Stan Sierra is about is...
Hey, look, the disrespect, they're using your weapon. That's yours. What? You see, that's disrespectful. They're grabbing your weapon while you're over there inside the other ring and using it. And you're telling Zodiac, hey, we could have been best friends, but guess what? Zodiac was stupid. He didn't listen. You were telling him, yeah, we'll shake hands, but I'm still going to whoop your ass. Which we're about to do when he makes that mistake. See, he's letting Marty Clay rub off on him because he's about to do the ultimate mistake. Here it comes. He's taking your hand. You're shaking his hand. And you tell him, hey, me and him are friends now. Up. And then he decides to do that. Yeah. See, never in a million years did I think that Zodiac would turn on you like that just because of Marty Clay. And look at him. He thinks that he's done something just because he black hole slammed you. But here's the thing. Did his team win? He's got to remember. Did your team win? Nope.
That's the difference. Even with that going on, what I do, I get up, I pick the stick up, I knock Marty's brains out with
Exactly. And then you got back up to your feet, and you're about to take on Zodiac again. Zodiac's trying to cheat, trying to keep you from attacking him. Gives you an Irish whip. Nope, he's trying to heart punch you.
How was it being in the cage? Were you are you very familiar with cages? I mean, I think you've probably been in a couple cage matches, but do you like them? Do you not like them?
I do like them. I like the excitement of a cage match. I like the fact that it's just balls to the wall, fist fight, whoever.
I feel like a steel cage or a Hell in a Cell match would definitely fit you because it's just two guys 1-on-1 and there's nowhere to go except if you climb out or
Exactly. Plus, a cage match allows the ultimate sign of battle because y'all don't got to worry about anyone coming in. Y'all, it's just you two going down with 4 cell walls between y'all. And that right there is one hell of an environment because that brings out the wild side of a man. Because you got the cage and then you got you. So what's the fear about it? It's just 2 men thrown down. Either he's going to knock you out or you're going to knock his ass out.
Anything goes, and that's one thing about Stan Sierra that has always been worked out for me is it seems like the crazier it gets, the more chaotic, the more out of control. It's like I excel in that. I excel better than I would a technical, Dean Malenko man of 1,000 holds because I don't have 1,000 holds.
Exactly.
I mean, that's just the truth of the matter. But I got that right there, and whenever that lands up on the side of their head, it does just as much damage as that arm bar or whatever does.
Plus, in a cage match, when it's just you and the other guy and those walls can become a weapon because you don't even need a weapon.
Now, what I think on the video here, it shows me, I tell me I'm a lot better dancer than John Noble. Yeah, watch this. I'm a whole lot better dancer than John Noble.
Watch this dance.
And I didn't even know he had done it.
Exactly. Like he thought that he was dancing, but then you showed him what sexy Stan Sierra can do inside that ring.
Damn.
Nice elbow drop on Mark. You see that? Mark Clay shriveled up and died just now. After you hit that elbow. Oh, but then of course you have Zodiac up there grabbing your ankle. What's he trying to do? Bite your ankle off? Because all I saw was him grab your ankle and try to twist it. And now you're back to your feet. See, this is the difference between you and Marty Clay. You're back to your feet. What's Marty Clay doing? Marty Clay just decides that he's going to attack you when you're just trying to catch your breath a little bit. And now he's going to try to go for a top rope maneuver. Of course he would. Like, this could have ended very bad for him if you had powerbombed him off there. Because you're looking at it. That could have ended badly for him.
That's a rare time where a risk pays off.
That's the only time that paid off because he knew that Stansera was catching his breath, and he decided, I'm going to hurt him while he's doing it.
See that here we go.
Right there. And once again, back on.
He doesn't. He goes to the well too many. That is Marty's biggest flaw. If I was going to say, Marty, go home and watch the tape and work on it. He takes too many risky maneuvers that don't pan out at the end of the day. And a costly maneuver at the end of a match, in the last minute of a match can cost you the match.
Exactly.
Every move matters. You can get knocked out one punch.
Exactly.
That happens all the time.
Big boots can knock you out.
Every move matters. And also with that every move matters, you start off a match fresh.
Exactly.
But the more you do, the more you're going to get tired and blown up.
And he was making himself extremely tired because he kept on doing nothing but top rope moves. So,
and you don't want to be the guy that's sucking air when it's when it's getting towards the end of the match and you've already been hit with a couple finishers. You're already stunned. Like, you don't want to be,
especially when your opponents are Stan Sierra, Kyle Maggart, Chris Crow, Adrian Alexander, Eric Porter. You don't want to be the guy that's sucking air during
minimum time for mistakes.
See, you're smart. You told time out for a moment.
Oh, I seen that guy coming. I knew he wasn't coming for me.
Exactly. See, I knew that he's going in there not to help y'all win or to help the other team win, but to get his hands on that man right there.
He just don't like Zodiac for some reason. And you know what? He's probably got a pretty good reason. Seeing how he turned on me after all these years, he's probably done that to that guy more than
exactly. So it was well deserved, and as you can see, he leaves the cage after he gets his hands on him. See, he wasn't there to help y'all or to help the other team. He was just there to get his hands on one man, Zodiac, and he did it. And look, he hit side spread on you. See, he didn't even try to hit you with Dead Man's Curve. He just decided, well, I've beaten lots of people with this move. I could do this to stand and get the win. Nope, didn't happen. He took too long. Because then you saw Adrian Alexander stop it. And as you can see, Chris Crow's taking John Noble to work. Here we go. Here's the bad moment. This was the moment that cost Marty Clay to win. Because he decided that he's going to go up after Adrian, put him on his shoulder, and do a high-risk maneuver instead of actually pin someone that was down inside the ring. Right here. Watch this, B-Money. This is what cost him the win. He's going to try and do a flashy.
Look at all this time he's taking.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I'm sitting right over here just waiting on him. I'm like, hurry up.
That's right.
Showboat away.
And then after this, he rolls over. He tries to get the win. Now he's going to cover the guy. No, he's taking too long to try to cover him. See, that's why.
I'm not sitting there waiting on him.
Yep. You're waiting on him. You're waiting for him to get that pin. Now, you're right there, you're standing, and already got it ready and prepared. Boom. And now, here we go. 1, 2, 3. See that? There's the problem with Marty Clay.
That is another example, another difference. Like right there, it's like, know your surroundings, know what's going on. I knew every single man was on the other side in the other ring, and I was standing in the corner just waiting with the bat, waiting for Marty to make a mistake, which he did.
And that's the thing. He done that all throughout the match too. He always wanted to do something for the top rope instead of actually trying to do something down. Because if he wanted to, he could have been attacking you, but instead he's like, I see Adrian up on top. I'm going up top, and I'm going to do something spectacular. And what did it do? It got him winded. It got him moving slower. And you took advantage with one strike. That's all it took. One strike, and it was done for. And look at that. That's a hell of a unit of a team.
That's
right
a
there.
hell of a team. Right? That's like main event mafia in Kentucky, dude. I mean, you got Kyle Maggard, Stan Sierra, Chris Crow, and Adrian Alexander. Oh, what's he
And look
doing
at
to
that.
him?
He's colored.
Yeah,
he's colored because
I wanted to ask you. You definitely caught him with that bat. Pretty fucking good. Yeah. He damn.
When it makes that little thud on the end of it, you know you get them pretty good.
Exactly. And he bled. He thought they was going to draw your blood, but at the end of the day, we saw Marty Clay be the one bleeding, which has happened at least 3 times now. Poor choice of words on Marty Clay's part to always say that he would make someone else bleed. Because so far all I've seen is Marty Clay's blood.
Yeah, he said he didn't have time to bleed
Yeah.
on his posts. It's like you say, obviously you do. That's all you do.
Yep.
Is bleed and get beat.
Yep,
And
because
then cry.
inside that room inside there, you can see his blood still stains the carpet. And then at the last show after that, he's bleeding. And then at War Games, you busted him open. He ain't got time to bleed. Well, it looks like he's got more time to bleed than anyone else. Because no one else on his team is bleeding. They're all the only ones that ain't bleeding. But Marty Clay, he's fragile. He's bleeding. So,
As serious as I could be, I would highly recommend to Marty Clay, if he's out there listening, to give up running around naked up and down the creek bank, yanking turtles out of creeks, and spend more time in the video room, watching video, studying video, learning ways to win other than what he's doing right now, because obviously it's not working.
exactly. He needs to.
But who am I? I mean,
Exactly.
he ain't going to listen to me, but who am I? I'll just keep on being the champion, and
Yep.
he can keep on getting beat.
Exactly, because at the end of the day, you're the smarter one, because not only do you know what Marty Clay's going to do, but you study the tapes. You don't even have to study the tapes, actually, because he wrestled them so many times now that you can predict when he's going to go up top, what he's going to do on the top, and win the strike. Like, you knew that he was going to put Dead Man's Curve, but as soon as you saw him climb that top rope, you knew this idiot was about to do something stupid, and that allowed you to nail him with the bat. And as you can see, the man is walking away crying with blood streaming down his face. All those times that he said that he ain't got time to bleed, I beg to differ. He's had more time to bleed than anyone in the state of Kentucky.
You know, all these crybabies up here to...
Yep. And that they're all crying because their baby boy Marty Clay lost yet again. It's like he doesn't understand. It's time for someone else to take the spot. It's someone else to get the chance to take on Stan Sierra, because you've already whooped his ass so many times that you've lost count. And you've made him bleed so many times as well.
You know, I'm in a very unique position on the time out of the 5 out of the 6 years that I've had this championship, because this belt has been defended against veterans that's been in this business 20, 30, and it's been defended against guys that's been in this business 3 years.
Exactly.
I mean, I've wrestled a lot of the older generation, but I'm still here, and now I've wrestled a lot of the new generation. And Marty Clay represents that new generation.
Exactly.
And all I got to say is they better step their game up if they
Yep.
think they're going to come take my championship.
Because
It's not happening.
it's looking like all they do is the same thing as he does. Going up to the top rope and not trying to find a way to beat sexy Stan Sierra. Who would you say would be a future opponent that you would love to lock horns with that you haven't locked horns with yet? Is there anyone that catches your eye?
Yeah, I have some unfinished business with Wayne Moxie that I would like that we never got to settle some things between me and him, and because I got hurt before we had the opportunity to do that, and that was actually my very next opponent. So Wayne Moxie's one. I would definitely like to meet up with him. Bob, You know, I've wrestled Bob down in Tennessee, and me and him had a really wild, crazy match, and I'd like to revisit that. You know, because
Yeah.
Bob's more my kind of guy. Bob's not going to cry if you. I give him a little credit. He ain't going to cry if you punch him in the mouth.
Exactly.
I mean, you seen how he bit my hand.
Yep.
So guys like that. Who knows? I've just about wrestled them all. I don't really know very many worthy that I haven't wrestled.
That's true.
I mean,
like if they're gonna have someone that you would want to wrestle, they have to be worthy. They gotta prove that they should be inside the ring with Sexy Stan Sarah. Now Bob and Wayne, they proved that they could be inside the ring with you. But all the other ones, they need to take a step back and examine what would make them worthy of ever facing Sexy Stan Sarah for the AMW title or any championship that he holds right now. I think they're going to have to study the tapes if they want to find the answers to that. Then again, if they're like Marty Clay, I don't think they'll understand. Because Marty Clay sure ain't understood that him going up to the top rope was his biggest error. And all the young guys I've been seeing, they favored the top rope as well. You have any advice for them?
My advice to a lot of guys when they ask is it's just the same thing that was told me is make it mean something. You can do 15 ineffective, crazy, wild moves, but if you do that one or two that's really effective, I promise you every time it's going to work. It's going to get the result you want. Which here's the thing though, it's changing from that. Like you said, it's going that way. That way is more the way now. I'm more of something of the past. I just happen to still be here.
Yeah.
But it's like that is the new way for a lot of them. But if you look at it, all the ones that are really successful are the ones that's got that good ground and pound game.
Exactly.
The ones that are really successful and really look at Carson Drake.
Yep.
I mean, Carson Drake, I would not say is a high flyer. And look how successful he is.
Exactly.
I mean, he's a perfect example. But he sticks out.
Just won the belt.
Right.
MWA.
Right.
Yep. The NWA television
champion.
And he understands Memphis style wrestling.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite styles.
He gives me a very Memphis kind of vibe when I watch him wrestling. When I seen him at New South.
Like I understand that there's high flyers that like to do 15 crazy moves, but they gotta understand wrestling is supposed to be like ice cream flavors. You're always supposed to have something to keep every fan invested.
Would you
Not
ever consider giving Maggard a shot at the title? Because I feel like the top three are Stan, Maggard, and Clay.
Well, that's kind of a touchy subject because me and Kyle had a pretty rough go way back when. I actually defeated Kyle in his hometown where he went to school at on the last day of the school's existence. And I beat him in a no-holds-barred match in front of all of his fans and his family and everybody he went to school with.
Yep.
I mean, there was literally people crying because I beat Kyle. But we've come a long way since then. I mean, when you're going for this, everybody's competitive.
Exactly.
I mean, anybody, all these cool guys that you see on stuff, they all get on there, and I study everybody, I watch everybody, I know what everybody says, I watch them. And for the ones that get on there and say, "Oh no, man, I don't really need to have to be the champ," and then what the fuck are you doing here?
Yeah, exactly.
If I'm not wrestling for this belt, at AMW, what the hell am I doing even getting in the ring? What is at AMW that could be more important than going after this AMW championship?
People need to understand, when you're inside the business, your biggest goal is to go for the championship. Because when you have that championship, you're proving that you are the top dog without a shadow of a doubt. So if you're not won that championship, then what the fuck are you doing?
Right. Get out.
Exactly.
That's not what you want.
Exactly. Because that's part of being a professional wrestler, is that championship represents what you want to get.
Every time you go out there, you want to act like you want to wrestle like you're wrestling for a belt.
Yep. Because what's the point? Because if you're just there,
But I mean, Stan, every time he is wrestling for a belt,
Yep.
so
I mean, he is a
he
champion.
just stays in that champion mindset.
I mean, think about it. He's about to be on the 4th year of holding the title right now. That means that he's going to be the longest reigning champion. So, I can see why they're intimidated. Why the people that are scared to go for a championship are scared. Because they don't understand that when you go for a championship, you're putting that company on your back. You're the workhorse, the workhorse of that company. So when you're holding that title, that means something. If you treat it like it don't mean something, then that title gets devalued. A lot of these young guys that say that they don't need a championship, they're devaluing the championship by saying that. Because the whole point of the championship for any company is that you want to hold that championship around your waist, on your shoulder, and carry that company and make that company mean something. So if you're saying that you don't want it, then get the fuck out. Why are you inside the business for? Because that means something. Like, that's one of my pet peeves of wrestling. When every time I see a young guy say, "Oh, I don't need that championship. I'll get it next time," blah, 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 I'm thinking, what the fuck are you thinking? Go for the title now. Don't say that you'll get next time. That don't mean nothing to you. That's disrespectful to the company that you work for and to the championship that has been held by all the other wrestlers that have wanted that championship. A lot of these guys need to understand, you're inside this business to win. And that's the whole point of the business. Not only to win, but to make sure that you're making money and to have those fans there want to see what you do next. Want to see what the heel's going to get. Like, the young guys need to understand the championship matters. You need to go for it. Don't be saying that you don't want it, because you can get out of business if that's your thought process. Like, I'm tired of those types of wrestlers, because I've been seeing them ever since about 2016. I've been seeing these types of wrestlers. I'm like, the whole point of you being inside business is that you want to be the champion. So why the hell you telling me that the championship don't matter to you?
Yeah.
Look at Stan here. That championship on his shoulder, that means something to him. And the guys that have held that title before him, that meant something to them. So it'd be disrespectful for anyone to be saying, "Oh, I don't need that title. It don't mean nothing to me." They need to understand the championships in wrestling mean something. Make it make sense. That's the whole point of wrestling. Like this match here, Kyle Magner's making it make sense for the fans there. And it's catching their eyes. It's getting them off their feet. You can see the fans right there clapping, trying to get Kyle to his feet. You got the guy inside the ring. He's laid out on his back. That means something. Young guys, please listen and pay attention. Because we're tired of seeing crap where you think that only your high-flying moves are what matters. No one's going to remember your 15 fucking high-flying moves. What they will remember is when you do that one thing that keeps your opponent grounded. Because I got to tell you, one of my pet peeves with AEW on TV is all the times where they've done spots where a guy gets up and it kills everything that they've been working to. And I'm thinking, you stupid son of a bitch. Because that right there says he's disrespecting the business, because they need to understand, sell, care about what you're doing, make it make sense, understand what you want to do. Don't go out there and phone it in, because then the crowd's going to catch on. They're going to just not care what they're seeing. They won't even come to see what you're doing next. And that's something that I can say AMW makes happen. They make sure that everyone knows what's going to happen, and they make sure that everyone knows that you're going to get Stan Sierra no matter what.
Man, I feel like we've went over a lot of stuff, and I think it's time to put Marty Clay aside and talk about something big coming up that Stan just announced.
Oh, yes.
How do you feel going into a match with Rhino?
You know what? I'm looking forward to that because I've been to that building before, but I was still injured at the time, and I was actually in a wheelchair. But I went to the building, and man, you talk about wrestling fans. I mean, that is a wrestling hotbed of really great fans that like old school wrestling, and I think they have high hopes. They think this is going to be one of the biggest events that they've had at that school, and they're pumping it up like that, and I think it's going to be a big deal. I'm looking forward to it.
And how do you feel about Rhino, the man beast, deciding to challenge you?
Well, here's the thing. Just like I've been saying all night long, I'm not going to go into it any different. Rhino might be there to make a buck and shake hands with the people and do all that. I'm there to win.
Exactly.
I'm not there to, I don't care that he's been to TNA or wherever he's been. That night, he's going to be in Lee County, Virginia at All-Star Entertainment against Stan Sierra. We're not going to be at TNA.
Exactly.
So, I don't never let all that in the style, they get,
and that happens February.
We're not going to be there. We're going to be in Virginia.
Yeah.
That's a little bit different story.
Exactly. And that's going to be happening in February of 2025.
Do you feel like he's more of a threat of an opponent than most people you come across?
I would say
like are you taking
physical? It'll be more physical.
So you're definitely like preparing, for Rhino. I mean the gore.
Exactly, the gore can tear people apart. But here's the thing: what happens if he can't hit the gore? Because this man's gonna make sure that Rhino ain't gonna be able to stand on his feet to hit that gore. He's gonna make sure that whatever he does, Rhino ain't going to be able to hit the gore. Rhino ain't going to be able to get the win. And Rhino ain't walking out saying that he beat Stan Sierra. Because Stan Sierra is going to do whatever it takes to keep Rhino on the mat. I mean, like what Chris Crow was talking about when Chris Crow was here. He said that his favorite thing about wrestling is when you punch a man something out. You can tell who's a tough man and who ain't. And there's a lot of pussies in wrestling. But the best wrestling matches are the ones that are hard-hitting between the wrestlers. I can guarantee you that Stan Sierra and Rhino are going to tear the house down because these two men know what it takes to beat the hell out of each other. You won't be seeing no tears from them. It's going to be hard-hitting, and it's going to be something that a lot of fans out there is going to be enjoying. And I guarantee that everyone's going to be walking away saying, what about that Stan Sierra versus Rhino match? I tell you what, I can already see Stan Sierra's walking out winning.
Listen, All-Star Entertainment down in Virginia got a really good product down there too. A lot of the guys that come from there come from Tom Pritchard and come from Jimmy Valiant's Boogie Camp down there. So you got good guys, good talented guys. A lot of guys that are smart to the business.
Exactly.
And so I always enjoy going down there. Anywhere I've been down in Virginia and Tennessee around there has always had just awesome fans. I mean,
exactly.
They show up ready to. They hate the bad guys and they like the good guys, and that's just how they are. I mean,
exactly. And that's the best kind of crowds to have because you got a crowd like that, it's going to bring the energy to the show. Because you want to feed off that energy. Because I've seen some crowds that wasn't that good.
Look here, I don't mean to interrupt you, but look here, right here. Jimmy Wally's talking about it earlier. There he is. I should have just hit him right in the back of the head.
Yeah, you should have because look, it's a cage match. And he's checking the cage to make sure that you can't do it. But it's him that's putting you that's being right there and trying to chastise you. But he's right there.
I mean, what business does he have even being right there whenever I'm doing what the fan, when you go to an AMW event, you want to hear from the champ.
Exactly.
I mean, you want to hear what the champ has to say. It's just not
Yeah.
Joe Blow.
And look, he was whispering things to the referee.
You don't want to hear from Jimmy Walls. We
Right.
wanted to hear from Jimmy Walls 400 years ago.
Right.
Not today.
Right.
Yeah, it's supposed to be Sexy Stan Sierra's time, and here he is coming out there and whispering to the referee about something. Is he trying to tell the referee to call it on you? Because
Look, pointing in your.
look, he's getting right up inside your business.
Do you think he gets up in your face and stuff because he's not scared of it, or do you think it's because he might be a higher up?
Oh well, he knows that when it comes to AMW officials, that if I haul off and knock the hell out of him, he can make my life difficult for a little while. For a little while he could, but.
And that's why you refrain yourself, and you have that. You can not, because you know the consequences.
But you could tell that he had something planned because he was talking to the referee where only the referee could hear while you were on the microphone.
Well, I mean, just being honest. I mean, I'm all about honesty tonight on this interview. I don't know why, but I'm about. You seen me and Jimmy Walls standing there together. I mean, if I want to do something to Jimmy Walls, that'd be like abusing a child. I mean, that is the caliber of it.
Exactly.
There's nothing he could do if I wanted to haul off and give him a beating, except lay there and take a beating and hope that somebody felt sorry for him and come.
There's no. I mean, you don't get a win out of it. Other than it kind of would be funny.
It would be funny.
It would be
Yeah,
funny.
it would be funny.
It'd be funny, but you beat up an old man. That's all you. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
A smart ass old man that deserved it.
Exactly.
True.
There's
Because
some that don't deserve it. He deserves it.
yeah, because he's putting himself inside your business. Like if he'd stay out of your business, you wouldn't be wanting to attack him. But here he is. He comes out there while you're trying to give the people your time, and he's out here talking trash, and he's telling the referee something.
See,
that you can't hear.
everybody paints Stan as this Johnny Lawrence
Yeah.
character. They paint him as this. He was the bad guy. But what happened when they came out with the YouTube video a long time ago saying who the real villain is?
Yep.
Bam! Same situation.
Exactly.
We just exposed tonight on the podcast that Stan Sierra is not the bad guy that they make him out to be.
The real bad guy was Jimmy Walls the whole time because all he's done is antagonize
Jimmy Walls,
Stan
Marty
Sierra.
Clay, everybody.
And look, they even brought in Chris Michaels thinking that he's going to take the title off Stan in this cage match. Like that, they thought that bringing in Chris Michaels would somehow take the title.
What did you think about going into that match?
That match I knew was going to be a tough one because the headliner Chris Michaels flat out is as tough as they come. He's done everything. He's been everywhere. He's held every championship. He's been to WWE, WCW, Smoky Mountain Wrestling. I mean, he's been there and done that.
And he's had his hands handcuffed to the ring post.
He is a guy that you definitely, what I was talking about earlier, like with Marty Clay, you can't hurl yourself off and make a major mistake against a guy like Chris Michaels and win.
Exactly.
If you do and you miss, he's going to beat you.
Exactly. Plus, he's got that super kick inside of his arsenal.
But let's be honest, he's stepping into your world.
Yeah, inside the cage match. Like, what he don't understand is that you got your weapon, plus you got the cage walls that you could use on him anytime. Like, he may have that super kick, but you have more than enough to take Chris Michaels out. Which you proved even this year when he didn't expect Kyle Maggard to finally attack him. And then him getting handcuffed around that post and him being forced to watch as you stood over him holding up the towel with Kyle Maggard. That was a stroke of genius, which Chris Michaels did not see. And I bet Ray X was going off the whole time they saw it. Because after all, as we saw earlier, he was out here with his cage match telling the referee, yeah, I want you to make sure Stan can't win. But look, you beat this man because we know this because you're still champion. Like their whole plan was for you to lose to this man, and it backfired on them. Because they thought that putting you inside a cage match would somehow put you at a disadvantage. Instead, it ended up being that man right there with the super kick. he was at the disadvantage because he's obsessed with super kicking, but you're not. You knew going in that you were going to take this man off his feet. Right there he is posing on it. See, that's his problem. Catering to the fans while you're zoning in on them. See, if he wasn't focused on them, maybe he would have been able to do something against you. But you're the man of the hour right now. You're focused on him while he's focused on them. That's his biggest mistake here. Same thing happened earlier this year.
Another mistake is these bookers always putting you in steel cage matches. I mean, knowing that's the worst play. I mean, that's like putting them in putting another man in the room with Stan Sierra and locking them in.
Exactly. Because this is where Stan Sierra feels at home at. Is right there inside that steel cage. Because they're not trapped with him. They're trapped with a monster. Because as soon as they're inside that cage with Stan, they see what Stan's capable of. Because Stan puts not only his all into what he's going to do, but he's already got inside his head what he's going to maim them with. Not only that, but he's got his bat out there.
What made you hit that move right there?
What's that? Go through the...
Yeah, what made you hit that?
That is just, I do it when certain, especially like Chris. I mean, a veteran like Chris, he knows all the tricks and he knows everything, but it's like sometimes you have to get them off of that. You know, you're circling, and you're getting ready, and you're getting all tensed up. And you just break that chain in their brain where they're getting ready to go. You snap it.
Oh.
And you just go, just to step out and just take a second and break that.
Yeah.
You know, to make them have to refocus again.
Holy shit, I've never thought of that. Dude, that's ring IQ 1,000,000 right there.
Ring psychology as well. Also, he had your bat and he thought that he was throwing you off the game, but you attacked him and was whooping on his ass.
Because, I mean, just think about it, like if you're with a guy and you're ready and you're mad and you're ready to start throwing punches and then right at the last second, you're like, you know what? You step out to the outside, hold on a second. It breaks that whole train of thought. It takes the aggression down a little bit, maybe make them not as sharp.
And that's why he grabbed your bat. Because he didn't know what you were doing. He grabbed your bat, thought that he was going to throw you off your game, but as we saw, you attacked with a punch to the face, and then you clubbed him to the back. And now he's making a mistake because he's got you inside corner, and he thinks he's going to hit you with all 10 punches. But he's taking too much time. And that can always cost you the match. And look at the referee. I think that Jim Walls really told him to try and make sure that you lose.
You know, like he said, I don't get it. I don't mind them. I've been pretty successful in the cage matches, but it's like, you know, you just put in their perspective. I'm 6'3", 280, close to 300 pounds.
Yep.
You know, you lock me in a cage and you force me to have to fight my way out of it, but then you cry on the results.
Yeah.
Because they don't go the way that
exactly
you want them to go. I mean, you put any of us in a situation where we feel threatened, we're going to do whatever it takes to survive.
It's all about survival, because when you're inside a cage, your instincts kick in. And they're crying about that because you win every time. I swear, with the video music, I can still hear Reddy X screaming, "Why does he keep winning? Why does he keep winning, JR?" Because he knows.
You know, one of my main takeaways from this podcast is pro wrestling's not about heels or faces. It's about winning. Because when you're winning, you can win and you can still be a bad guy.
Yep.
People can hate you, but at least you're a winner, and you got that. You know, you've beat all these guys. You still got that winner mentality. And if you're a good guy, I mean, and you're a winner, but
exactly. And Stan Sierra wins every time.
Well, like we've been talking here all night, why would I give a damn about what any of them out there think about me whenever I'm having the success that
Yeah.
I have. Do you think I'm going to stop doing what I'm doing to listen to you on no.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing because it's working.
Exactly.
And if you don't like me, then tough shit. You don't like me.
That's right. That's why Nancy Roberts likes you. Because she knows Stan Sarah will do whatever the hell Stan Sarah wants. And Jim Walsh, you've known, don't be thinking that because it's a cage match that somehow he's going to throw you off the game. Because now I understand why he came out there. He thought that by being out there, it would throw you off. But the real thing was Chris Michaels got thrown off because you punched him inside the mouth and clubbed him to the back. I could see real fear cross his eyes because he realized, oh, damn, I didn't get into his head. He got into my head. And that's the big difference between you and him. And right there, you're using the corner because you know that he has to come over to you. You don't have to go over to him. He can attack you. Oh, there he goes, grabbing your bat. See that?
See, they all try to cheat. They always try to start cheating.
And now he's trying to do something weird to you, man.
Apparently he thinks that by doing that, he's somehow going to hurt Stan. Like he's using your weapon, which is yours, and they say that you're cheating. You didn't even grab the bat. This whole match, I've not seen you grab the bat once, but I've seen Chris Michaels pick it up and attack you several times. And right now, you're down because your own weapon. It wasn't because of Chris Michaels, because Chris Michaels don't hit you as hard as that weapon.
Hey, that weapon holds a lot of power, too.
It does. Because apparently they all want to disrespect Stan by taking this weapon. And yet it's him that's the bad guy. I've not seen him grab that weapon out, even when it's right there beside him.
Oh, I got a question for you. So we haven't got to talk to you really since all the fair tours in the summer. Yep. I want to know how was that for you? How was this summer for you?
It was pretty good. Pretty good.
I hear you on that because the fair tours are definitely some of the best that you're gonna find. If people want to see great wrestling for the fair,
people love the fair tour, and it sounds like y'all did like a pretty kick-ass job on this last go-around.
Yeah, we do every year, for a while now. I mean, it's the fairs are great. People come out to them. I think it does a lot of good for like surrounding places because you're starting to get people. You're starting to get more wrestling fans actually that'll come to the fair on the night that wrestling's there.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about.
Before it's always kind of been where
people are in and they see it and they stop by.
Right. But exactly. I'm noticing like last year in particular, since you brought last year up, it's like people were coming and a lot of people like bigger was coming and staying for the whole thing.
Yeah.
And not passing through and going to the other, things going on. So it's starting to get, a lot more wrestling orientated, it seems like. Wrestling fans.
That's right.
Starting to be there.
And that's a beautiful thing to see, too, is finding wrestling fans that want to genuinely see all that wrestling action. Like, that's a beautiful thing. And the fair tour, that fairground wrestling, nothing beats it.
Hey, them big fair shows with 100 degrees heat out and everybody's hot and everything's it's nothing like them.
Dude,
they're a lot
we
of fun.
we set up. So we had my uncle had a ring, Al Steel, and we set it up one summer in the backyard. And dude, so we didn't realize it's middle of summer. This mat is fucking black, dude. So we was in the ring and he was teaching us how to take bumps. And dude, the first bump, dude, I felt like I was on fire, dude. It was so hot. I got up instantly. I was like, ooh.
Hey, at least you learned something.
Yeah.
Like, people say it's trampoline, but it's not.
No, it's not.
Like, those people that try and say that is, I dare them to get inside the ring and just for help it. Climb up to the middle rope and just free fall backwards. Tell me if it's a trampoline then. I guarantee they ain't getting up. They're going to be holding their back for a week.
Just take a regular standing bump. It'll knock the wind out of you.
Also, go out there onto the apron and take a back bump onto there because let me tell you, That's the hardest part, and that ain't no joke either.
So going in, because we're wrapping it up on the end of the year. What was your favorite moment from this year?
Probably my favorite moment was there's a couple. Probably defeating Chris in Edmonton in a 2 out of 3 falls in his hometown.
Yeah.
I beat Chris in his hometown.
Nice.
That was pretty big for me to be able to do that. And of course the war games. I mean, that's watching those guys be able to come together as a team. I mean, helped me want to get back even quicker, because it was like I knew we've got something good going there. And so watching those guys, come together and make that unit strong.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Exactly.
Going into 2025, what are we expecting out of Stan Sierra?
Good question.
Every year I've always got, and some people, and I'll just be dead honest with you, and I don't mean to be blunt and mean to be rude by it, but you'll hear some of these guys that are, self-proclaimed pro wrestling gurus, know-it-all, blah, blah, blah. Well, they don't give two craps about Kentucky wrestling, this and that, and yada, yada. Well, I do, and I don't give a shit if you do or not. If you don't, then stay the hell out of Kentucky and don't wrestle in Kentucky.
Exactly.
I'll go ahead. I'll keep main eventing all the shows, and you can just stay the fuck out of Kentucky, and I'll take care of it.
Yeah.
But to go different places, I always like to go 2 or 3 different places, and then of course AMW is my home base pretty much. I'm always going to have commitment. I'm always going to have commitment to AMW, to UCW. Terry England, the oldest wrestling promotion in the state.
Sure is.
Obviously, I'm going to want to be involved with that. I mean, I'm an older guy. I want to be involved with that group.
That's right.
And if it wasn't for Jimmy Walls, I would really like USWF more than what I really like USWF. With
That damn Jimmy Walls.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
Jimmy's
always
a troublemaker.
Why is he a promoter? Because obviously he's got bias towards you. Every time that you're there, he wants to throw you outside these outlandish matches, thinking, "Oh, finally, this is the day when Stan's gonna lose." Just like he tried to throw you off your game during this match, coming out there and poking his nose into your business when he didn't have to. I was surprised he didn't even try to poke his nose into your War Games match. But he's smart. For once, Jimmy Walls realized, maybe I should not, because Stan would knock me on my ass. And that would have happened. That is a given. So Jimmy Walls, if you're listening, don't cross paths with this man again. Because I'm afraid that you'll get knocked on your ass. I don't want to see Reddy X get laid out. I want to remember your ass you was. NWA. Please don't make Stan have to take you out to the pasture and say goodbye to the old Yeller. Because, man, I'm sad for you.
Well, I'll be back.
But going into 2025, I think there's going to be big things for Stan Sierra.
I'm looking forward to it. It's here's the thing: some people, the fire is just as strong for me coming into this year as it is. I mean, wrestling, for those who really love wrestling and cherish wrestling, it's like I back when I was a little younger, I might have took wrestling more for granted than what I did now. It's like I love it. I want to be a part of it. I've got less time than I had before, but while I'm here, I'm going to raise as much hell as possible. I'm going to win as many championships as I can. I'm going to main event as many shows as I can possibly main event. And to the guys and the up-and-comers that think that that's their spot and think that they should have it, my advice to them is you better be ready to earn it, because I'm going to be fighting for it, because that's my spot. That's the spot I want to be in. And I'm not going to just let you have it. You're going to have to come take it. And I welcome that challenge. I mean, I look forward to 2025. I'm ready for all challenges. I'm ready to get down and dirty. We're going to do whatever it takes, just like always. I don't know. I've always said it's always so easy to do a Stan Sierra promo because it's not a promo. It's telling the truth. All I got. It's why it's easy. You know?
It's coming from here.
It's coming from here. It's like I show up to win. I'm not there to be second. I'm not there for participation trophies. I'm there to win the whole thing. If not, I'll stay my ass at the house.
Exactly. And that's what young guys today need to understand. If you're going to be there, step up. Don't be there because you want a participation trophy. And don't be there just because. Be there because you want to be there. Be there that you want to be a champion, that you love the business. But if you don't love the business, why are you in it? I honestly ask that to all you young guys that don't love the business. Why are you in it? It's okay to be in it for the money, but if you don't actually love the business yourself, why are you here?
Yeah. Well, Johnny, we've been on here 2 hours.
That's right, we have. Can you believe that's been 2 hours? It actually felt like it was only 40 minutes.
You know, I want to say one more thing real quick as far as like the younger guys there that we was talking about, making their way up. The thing for them to do that they should do is you've got to get that intensity for one, and you got to get that feeling of one. Here's the thing, and it's just the way it is. It probably was with you and your wrestling. We all think we're good.
Dude,
we all think we're the best. I mean, that's nothing against the next guy that comes in here and talks and he says, well, I'm blah, 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 blah. I've heard some of these guys that think they're cooler than the business that say, oh, you don't ever self-promote yourself. Bullshit. Why would you not self-promote yourself?
That's
Bullshit.
the key. That's the key to wrestling.
Why? Because are you going to promote me?
That's right.
No.
I mean, think about it. Some of these young guys don't even promote the company that they work for. Like they don't post the promo pictures. They don't post the flyers. They don't even cut promos. They wait until the company themselves post the promos. When you could be self-promoting, make sure that your match feels important, and making sure that people want to see either you get your ass kicked or you kick someone's ass. That's the whole goal. The young guys need to take your advice that you were just given. And they need to go back and listen to this. They need to study the tapes as well and learn from that. Because then it'll help the business grow like it's supposed to. Because I feel like we regressed where there's young guys that don't want to listen because they think, oh, my shit don't stink. Guys, listen to the veterans, please. Because you may think that you're doing something to get the casual fans liking what you're doing. But at the end of the day, they ain't going to remember all the 15 fucking high fly moves that you've done. And they're not going to remember half the things you did unless you make it make sense. So please go back and study your tapes. I'm not saying that you have to completely try to be like the Memphis style of wrestling. I'm just saying that maybe it's time to study your tapes and try to keep wrestling the way it was supposed to be. Bring the fans. Don't try to make the boys inside the back mark out. Make the fans on the outside, that's right there at ringside, cheer or hate your guts. Don't make the boys.
They're there for a reason. They come there to have a good time.
Exactly.
They might have had a bad week all week, and they're waiting until wrestling comes because they're going to show up, they're going to raise hell, they're going to have fun,
Exactly.
they're going to have a good time.
That might be somebody's escape from everything.
Exactly.
Wrestling. I mean, for me, wrestling is my whole life. Wrestling and collegiate wrestling and pro wrestling are both that's my life.
Exactly.
And I feel like collegiate wrestling honestly saved me.
Yep.
Really.
Plus, fuck trying to make the boys side back pop. It's not them that should decide what you're doing out there. It's those fans who are out there at ringside that decide if you're doing good or if you're doing bad. If they're doing crickets, then you're doing something bad. who cares about what the people inside the back think? It's the people on the outside right there around that ring that are going to give you the feedback that you need to improve. So I implore them to make sure that they go back and they study the tapes, and also realize that the boys inside the back ain't the ones that's going to decide if you're doing good or if you're doing bad. It's going to be the guys on the outside, the women and children and the men that's out there, that's going to decide if your match is good or bad. Don't pop.
Video does not lie.
Exactly.
That is one thing for certain. Video does not lie. I've been, and some guy, and like I said a minute ago, we all think we're the best. We all think we should be on top, yada yada. But whenever you get there, the people will not lie. If you go out there and do 500 Dean Malenko moves with 300 false finishes, and all of it goes perfect, and all of it looks beautiful visually on the tape, but the crowd's sitting there the whole time with their hands in their hand and watching, and then another match comes out, and they do way less than what you done right there, but the people are going bonkers. Who had the better match?
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm just saying, guys, follow his advice.
I mean, the fans do not, if we're there, if our goal is to get them, when you go back, you can watch a video. I always used to say, because you could get around certain guys, and no matter what, their egos would not let them say, well, you know, maybe I didn't have the best match or blah, blah, blah. You turn the video on, there's no denying it. I mean, you can play that game all you want, but you guys are into all this technology. You know, video does not lie.
No,
Exactly.
it don't. Even like
Especially the
matches that were
fans.
filmed to mine. Oh, I might have fucked up a move or something, and then maybe thinking, no, I didn't. And then look back on it, yeah, I did.
I
Maybe
mean,
gotta
look
work
at
on
this.
something.
The video does not lie. They were into that match that you just had. The fans are up on their feet. They're cussing at you. They're hating. They're trying to get the referee to get up. Not one person there is sitting on their hands and knees. They're paying attention to what Stan Sarah is doing on his way out. That video does not lie. If they would just pay attention to the fans, they would understand if their match sucked or if their match was the best there was. And with that, guys, who wants to give their final says?
Start us off. Oh wait, no, you ended. All right. Man, it was a great night here. It's always a pleasure being in here with the champ, the man Stan. I think it's honestly crazy that the same little kid that was in the crowd gets to sit here in the studio with you tonight. And thank you so much for coming. I always love doing the podcast with you. You're the best wrestler in Kentucky, no matter what anybody says. No Marty Clay, nobody. I've adopted the bandana because it's badass. And with that, thank y'all.
That's right. Your floor, Stan.
Well, I want to thank both of you guys. You know, I had said on the way up here, they said, a couple people said, you know, how you going to be up there being around Superfly? Last time you was up there, you might have sucker punched him.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? It's like this. I got up there, and sometimes when I like to play, play a little rough.
Yep.
We played a little rough. I sucker punched you. You took it like a man, and
That's
I thought,
right.
you know what? You didn't cry about it. You didn't complain about it. You got right back up, and I thought,
Well,
I'm going to come back here.
I don't know about right back. I don't know about. He was asleep for a couple minutes.
But I didn't cry. That's the difference.
I had to drag you down the stairs, though, because Andy left early, and I had to take you down the stairs and get you in the car.
But I didn't cry.
But it was worth it.
But needless to say, I was on point with everything else tonight. You earned it. You didn't cry about it. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to go back up there, and I'm going to give them an honest, fair interview. We'll talk
That's
about
right.
whatever you want to talk about because you earned that. But for as far as me, to wrap it up, 2025, I got Withfield, Virginia, Friday night. That's about 5 hours and 45 minutes away. They've got it's a benefit, Christmas benefit for abused children and women, and so it's a good thing for that. I got February 8th coming up with Rhino, of course. A big year. I mean, I've got dates already booked all the way up to May already for the next year. So
That's
not too bad for an old guy. So
exactly.
I'm busy, looking forward to new places, and yeah, I had a blast here tonight. Thank you guys for having me up here. It was good just to sit down and talk no bullshit every
That's
now
right.
and then. I mean, and I appreciate it, and
Appreciate you
thanks
too.
for having me.
I just want to say thank you to the fans that have been watching. Jimmy Walls, we know you were watching. It's okay that you got scared to say anything, but you were watching, and that's what counts. James Kendrick, thank you for tuning in as well. You were a good man, although your training didn't help Andy, though, when I whooped his ass. But that's besides the point. But anyways, guys, we here at the Nice Game Podcast want you to stay nice, and always remember, if you ain't having fun,
You ain't getting none.
damn, skip it.